prophet. He received revelation. He had a text called Zabur, and he was a prophet with the text.
We can fact check that point. Mazed, according to the Jewish paradigm, do you only accept prophets who come from the lineage of Isaac or the Israelites or whatever?
No.
Okay,
Give me an example then. What prophet do you accept who's from the lineage of Isaac?
Have you ever heard of Bilam?
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Bilam. This is a very considered like an evil prophet, but the prophecy that he gave is considered one of the most treasured Jewish blessings. It's very beautiful. It's in the 5 books of Moses.
Numbers 22 also. You need to do
Also, there are just prophecy in the Jewish conception is an ability that.
Yeah, but Bilam was also a Jew, wasn't it?
Is attained based upon a person who is good, righteous.
He wasn't a Gentile. He was a Jew.
Prophet.
He wasn't a Jew. He wasn't a Jew.
I'll say further. Here's the funny, weird thing. Sometimes prophecy can be contagious. There's a really weird story about King Shaul, who is literally coming to kill King David. But King David was hanging out at the school of prophecy, and as the verse says, he was prophesying at the time. And Shaul kept sending assassins to go kill him, but when the assassins came upon him, they prophesied instead. And then Shaul comes to try to kill him. It's very similar to the Bilam story. And now going to do it by himself, he prophesies instead. Prophecy contagiously can stop a murder.
All right. Yeah, but 1 second, let's just...
Oh, he literally
That's
wasn't.
not true at all.
He literally wasn't. He's really not, though.
Okay, so what's connection of Bilam with Moses?
Nevat,
Yeah.
What's the difference? Nevat.
I just want to bring up.
Sorry, there are good midrashim about his origins, like which lands he came from. He is associated to different names. He worked with the Midianite princes and the who was the other one? Midian and Moab, I think. Moab also. Those were the two that hired him, and they hired him to curse the Jews. And he used his strategy to send prostitutes into the Jewish camps, which got really angry.
I thought we're discussing the issue of how Ishmael is portrayed in the Bible. I thought that was the point of all this.
Yeah, but Abdullah brought up a certain point.
You said that Jews don't accept non-Jewish prophets. I was trying to illustrate how we do have records of non-Jewish prophets, and we consider prophecy to be an ability of righteous people who come from all walks of life.
But there's so much evidence
I made a claim. Okay, tell me, when it comes to Ishmael, do you accept him as a prophet?
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure yes.
You accept Ishmael as a prophet?
Yeah, I don't think any of his prophecies are recorded, but prophecy was lightly attributed to pretty much all of the members of Abraham's house. And also, I'm pretty sure the rabbis are clear, even though Ishmael is kicked out of Abraham's house, which Abraham did to create his blessing or something, it is still said that Ishmael, when he died, was merited as a tzaddik. He was a righteous person. He came from the house of Abraham. Discredit Ishmael. We simply say that as part of Abraham's blessing, the vision, what he was doing with Isaac, Ishmael had a different future for himself.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, look, the blessing was with Isaac, and Ishmael was Abraham's other chosen son, who was a prophet, and he had his blessing was a great nation would come from his progeny, which could never have happened without the prophet Muhammad, who united everyone to become a great nation.
So Hans, in Genesis 22:2, where God refers to Isaac as Abraham's only son, which is not true, then despite Ishmael being mentioned, before that verse, why is that where you get the fact that Isaac is the chosen son? He said the word only?
No, it's just that they had different blessings. God has different programs. He's the ultimate planner. So the blessing for Isaac would the Messiah, right? And then the blessing for Ishmael would be his progeny would come a great nation. In so many respects, I see Ishmael as God's backup plan. I mean, if you look at it, even Moses didn't believe that the Israelites were going to make it. If you read his farewell speech, he just said, "Yeah, well, good luck, but I don't think you're going to make it because you guys are way too stiff-necked." And certainly they were, you know. So there's this whole parable of the fig tree with Jesus, where he curses the fig tree, and there's a story that the owner of the fig tree wants to rip it out, but the gardener says, "Oh, give it another chance." He said, "Well, it's been 2 seasons, never produced any fruit." Those 2 seasons that they're referring to is, and there was always the dream of the Israelites to live in peace in their land under their fig tree was a luscious and succulent fruit. And so basically the first failure was when Moses said, "Okay, God says go in there and take the land," and they didn't. So they wandered in the desert for 40 years for that generation to die off. Then Joshua brought them in, right? And they lasted for, 200-300 years, and then they were kicked out for faithlessness and corruption because the indigenous people, whether it was the Amalekites or the Canaanites, seduced them into sacrificing their children to Moloch, which really pissed God off. So he kicked them out of the Babylonian exile. That's the second strike. The third strike came, "Okay, well, I'm going to let you go." Cyrus, king of Persia, lets them come back. And they rebuilt the second temple. And apparently they knew right around the time when the Messiah was coming. And that's why King Herod killed all the babies in this area, because he didn't want the Messiah to show up and usurp his kingdom. So the story is that the gardener tells the master, "Okay, I'll give it some fertilizer and we'll give it a 3rd season." Well, Jesus was the one who gave the fertilizer, which was the good news, the gospel, how to properly behave. And they failed again. So basically, God is putting his chosen people at the crossroads of trade. And if you look at the age, which we went off in the 2000s, Israel, Palestine, at the crossroads of trade. So where there's trade, there's exchange of culture, and this is what God wanted. That didn't work out, so they were done. You're done. And so what happened 600 years after Jesus? You have to remember the second temple was destroyed by the same people, the Romans, that crucified Christ. There's no need for the second temple. The Messiah's gone, so it's destroyed. And so I love this sublime symmetry, this poetry that God keeps on doing throughout the Bible. So here's Ishmael and his progeny. 600 years later, Mecca becomes the crossroads of trade, just like what was going on in Israel. Crossroads of trade and culture. And so the idea, in my opinion, was that they were going to imbue all the people they traded with this culture and the righteousness and justice of God. Right? In terms of
Hans, hold on. Okay, we don't want the biblical summary, man. We just want information relevant to Isaac. You're going on for 10 years.
Okay, so let's look at that.
So just let's get back to the point about Ishmael being a prophet. Meg said, I don't think you actually know what you're talking about here, because I am looking right now. I've looked into Talmud, for example.
Well, the Talmud is
Talmud sources.
You mean the Torah or the Talmud?
I'm looking into like Jewish sources. I've never heard any Jewish person claim prophet to be Ishmael to be claiming him as a prophet.
Well,
that's not
I
true.
don't care if they say he's a prophet or not, because he is. It's pretty obvious.
Where is it obvious?
Yeah, okay, so McLovin is another Jew, Christian, or whatever. I made a claim that the Jews rejected Ishmael as a prophet. I think that's true.
Well, that's their problem.
Yeah, so Magza told me no, we are a prophet. That's never been said before.
He's not a prophet.
So that goes to my point, what I said, that Ishmael was completely, there was a plot by the Jews against Ishmael's prophecy and his story, his origin story. They switched the sacrificial son from Ishmael to Isaac. They've made it the story between Hajar and Sarah that there was basically an issue happening between them, and that Sarah kicked out Hajar, and that they were casted out in the desert by the word of God. And all this is all what comes to my argument here.
You're going to have to show the evidence for that plot. Me, though, I mean, I could just say your whole religion is really just an advanced plot by the Jews, you know. Let's help Mr. Muhammad and his Sahaba create this religion that we can attack Christians from in Arabia, you know. Do a couple genocides here and there and hit in against, these filthy Edomite Christians. And when you look at the evidence, it is quite substantial, you know. They talk about,
Can we talk about Isaac and Ishmael first before you start?
Yeah, let's talk about Isaac and Ishmael.
Let me bring up a point so that we can finish on Abdullah's point, because people are just bringing weird random notes. Okay, what about Jethro? What's the stance on Jethro from the Judaism point of view? Was he a priest or was he not? And was he of I'll call it Abrahamic descent? Because Moses does flee to Jethro. Now, was he a priest? Was he a prophet? What was he?
As I recall, Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, was a Midianite priest.
Would he be considered a prophet?
I don't know if he's considered a prophet. He definitely joined in on the Exodus. He was pivotal in forming the Jewish people. According to the story, he gave Moses the Exodus.
What about Melchizedek, the one mentioned who came to Abraham?
Melchizedek. That's in the era of Abraham. That's earlier. Yisro is the era of Moses, which is Abraham's great-great-grandson.
Huh? Melchizedek, how is that possible? How can he be his great-great-grandson?
Moses?
No, Melchizedek.
No. I said Melchizedek was in the era of Abraham, who is the great-great-grandfather of Moses, who was in the era of Jethro. Those are two different eras.
Okay, but was he a prophet? What was he?
Melchizedek was a priest of the Most High. He was like the king of Salem. He was definitely a noble, God-connected individual.
I'm just bringing up people who are held to be priests outside Israel, or the Gentiles, as they would call them. Why are they called priests?
Most important priests.
They're called priests because priest is identified as a role in society. There are evil priests, there are foreign priests, there are priests of Moloch.
Was Jethro an evil priest? What was he?
He was a priest of Midian. He was a priest.
That's not my question. I know he was a priest of Midian, but was he evil?
No, he was not evil. He was a good man.
Okay, so was he a priest of God?
He believed in the God Yahweh, Melchizedek, right? We know the Messiah is supposed to be ordained in his priesthood. So once again, Jews, they lied.
I think God would use other people outside of Israel. I think it's not just only of Israel that prophets came from.
Yes, we know this. We know Jews lie in our ethnocidals. So everything is be them or the devil. But then, according to rabbis, sometimes the devil is God himself.
One thing also to add to the point of rejecting Ishmael, because Ishmael's mother, she's from Egypt, right? The Jews also had clear prejudice from the Bible. You can read it. They hated Egypt. There's many prophecies about Egypt being destroyed. There's many prophecies about the Nile River in Egypt is going to dry out. That's actually an argument against the Bible to show it's a failed prophecy. There's like three different prophecies.
It's about the Tigris or Euphrates drying out, and it is actually drying out.
I'm talking about Egypt. I'm talking about River Nile.
Yes, the prophecy is.
That's nothing to do with Euphrates.
It's the Tigris or Euphrates. I forget.
No. I'm talking about specifically Egypt was mentioned as going to be destroyed. In fact, even it was mentioned that Egypt will be. Egypt will. Are you gonna just talk over me? Are you gonna just talk over me?
That now.
I'm the one talking.
And
I'm the one talking. Then you can respond.
You signed
So
for it.
Egypt, the guy. This is what McLevin always does. Whenever I talk, he just wants to talk.
Yes.
But he doesn't have anything to say.
Because you do the same thing.
MC,
So
what's his name?
Ask your God to help you control yourself.
MC, can you please like let
I'll ask for Satan
other
to help
people
me
talk?
control myself.
MC, listen, bro. If you're not gonna let people cut you, I will kick you out. It's boring.
You can kick me out.
Like, I
Why are
think-
you wasting
okay,
time with
alright.
these infidels? One's a liar, the other's an idiot.
Okay,
So,
Alright.
that was good
Next
when
one,
Nick
let's
said,
move on.
well done.
Abdullah.
So
You're
back to the
saying-
point. So we have. I can bring you even the ones if you read from the text from the Bible about mentioning Egypt will be destroyed. Egypt will be enslaved by the Jews. In fact, they even said that Egypt will speak the language of the Canaanites, and they're gonna worship the Hebrew God. That the river Nile will be dried out. All these are actually failed prophecies. None of them actually were. None of them happened. Never did Egypt follow the God of what was it called? The God of the Jews at the time. Never did they speak the language of the Canaanites. Never did the Nile River has been ever drought. It's still up till today. It still exists. Never has been Egypt destroyed. So this is actually that goes to the agenda that the Jews had a clear hatred towards Egypt and anything that comes from Egypt. And since Hajar came from Egypt and her son is not an Israelite, so that's why we're the motive game to completely fabricate the text. You can even see even in Genesis 22, even the word Isaac is an insertion. There's
You'll
inserted in the text.
see why the Torah foretold your future.
Huh?
If you study history, you'll see how the Torah prediction about you and your friends of Ishmael, it's all in there. You guys just aren't studying. You're studying a lying, corrupted version that was given with like an Arabic bias. But you don't see what God actually told you about your future. And thus, you bring it about because you don't understand what you're doing. You don't know what God told your ancestors.
Wait, how is
going to
that?
happen.
How is it a bias if I'm saying the Bible states that Egypt will be destroyed and Egypt was never destroyed? How is that a bias? It's just a
You
fact.
have not read the true word of God. You've read a corrupted text from a false prophet to hide
But-
from the truth.
But that's what we're trying to uncover.
I wish you the best, but it's
But I have a
It literally says in Isaiah 19:18, in that day,
Can I bring
5
in-
cities in Egypt will speak the language of Canaan and swear allegiance to the Lord Almighty. One of them will be called the city of the sun. That's never happened in history. That's in your Bible, Isaiah 19:18.
Wait, he left. We no longer have a Jew, guys. Is he back? Oh,
They do the run anyway.
But I was gonna say that I don't see. You brought up a point where you said that the clear intention of those who are writing the what's called the Gospels are to sort of make Israel sort of be like the important nation, so they fabricated the whole story. I don't know. I don't see that because of certain passages, like in the book of Exodus, chapter 12, how all of a sudden you bring about the question of, well, who is the Israel? Because Israel was now a mixture of native and non and people who became native or strangers. Because if you look at Exodus 12, it says a stranger can also become a native. So how are they being biased?
Well, what? Sorry,
I don't know if my point made sense. Sorry.
No, repeat it again.
So hold on. Let me simplify. So your point was that Israel was trying to fabricate the scriptures to make themselves look important. But my argument is that if you read Exodus, in that thing they also include natives and non-natives. So how is that?
After the Exodus, you mean like when they went to what was it called? Like after the
No.
Exodus?
In their law. So apparently there was a law, right, that says that so there was a Passover, and it was a very strict law to say that the only people who could partake of the Passover was only Israel. But in that same law, they now say that, but if a stranger also wishes to partake of the same things of the Israelites, they could literally become circumcised and also become a partaker of that. So I'm saying,
there
how
are
is that
laws
now?
for conversion in the Judaism. There are laws for convert. You can convert into Judaism.
True.
It's a process.
So
But
how
that still doesn't negate the
how are
fact.
they being biased?
Yeah, the simple. What's your term according to Jews? They call you Gentile. The Jews and the Gentile.
Yeah.
You're different, and the Gentile is not as particular as everybody else.
Yeah, but if I
They-
become circumcised, I'm no longer a Gentile.
Not you. No, I'm circumcised, and I'm we call this. All the Muslims are circumcised.
True.
As
If you're living according to that time, you'd all no longer be Gentiles. You'd be literally almost like Israelites.
So let me give you what I know. What I know for a fact is that
the people, come from the lineage of Jacob. These are the Israelites. And the Jews, they came from Judah. Just one tribe, of the Israelites of Jacob. Jacob, has 12 sons. Not only the tribe of Judah. What about other people? Why only the Jews? The Jews they say that they are the only Israelites. What about the other tribes?
That's what I just explained. See, all of that, when the law comes into play through Moses, all of that doesn't matter. What I'm now saying is that a person who's literally a stranger, who's not of Israelite descent, could literally become circumcised and become like a native. In other words, even if you're a Gentile, if you become circumcised according to that law of Moses, you're no longer a Gentile. You're now almost like an Israelite. Even if you're African.
No. Circumcision, not, it is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the God. Okay, but, it is not, doesn't mean that you are circumcised, that you are from the Israelite. The Israelite is a lineage, lineage from Jacob. This is,
I understand that, but the argument is
it's not, just, to be circumcised and you will be, within the lineage, it doesn't make sense.
No, you miss the whole issue okay. The whole issue is about the promises of God, right? And whom are called Gentiles. Gentiles were those who couldn't inherit the promises made or be part of the covenant the covenant between Israelites and God. But what I'm telling you is that when Moses came, that covenant was no longer only for the Israelites. Anybody outside the Gentiles, if they so wish to also partake in this thing of Israel, literally, you could become circumcised and practice the exact same things, even though you are African, Arab, whatever you are. Practice the same things as the Israel. The Bible actually puts it in this way: you become as one who's born, or you become as one who's native. Sorry, my bad.
The question we have. What about the Ethiopian Jews? According to the Israel today, they see them as second-class citizens. In fact, they actually treat them very badly. So even if you call yourself a Jew and you convert, you're still not in the same level. You are looked at as a second class.
Who cares what they say? The point being is that if they wanted to make sure that they assert their superiority, they should have changed even that passage in Exodus, because that passage is very clear that what they say doesn't matter. God is telling them those people are now is native. Now, if they're doing that, then they're doing something that's contradictory to what God told them to do. So they're in the wrong. Was clearly in the
Where's in Exodus? Give me the verse you're referring to.
Exodus chapter 12. I'll bring it to you.
Yeah, according to the Bible, when the woman, came to Jesus, to cure, her daughter, and she was from the Gentiles, and he didn't, cure her,
Hold on, let me just give Abdullah the passage. It's Exodus chapter 12, verse 43 to the end. I'll put it in the chat. Dang, my phone is on 10%. I might close the room. I might end the room in the next 10 minutes, guys, because I have to go get ready. 12, verse 43 to 51. There, I'll put it in the chat.
So here it says, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, these are the regulations of the Passover meal. No foreigner may eat it. Any slave you have bought may eat it after you have circumcised him, but temporary resident or hired workers may not eat it. It must be eaten inside the house. Take none of the meat outside the house. Do not break any of the bones. The whole community of Israel must celebrate it. A foreigner residing among you who wants to celebrate the Lord's Passover must have all the males in his household circumcised, then they may take part like one born in the land. No uncircumcised male may eat it. The same law applies to both native born and foreigners residing among you. All the Israelites did just what the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron, and not on the very date. So I think this is a very specific tradition when it comes to the Passover. It's not about like the whole religion.
Yeah,
in this case.
but you're also missing the part where it says, what did it say? And he shall be as a native of the land. So what does that mean? To be as a native, what does that mean?
Where's that again? Where?
I'm reading New King James Version. It's 48, and it's towards the end. And he shall be as a native of the land. For no uncircumcised person shall eat it. So when God said he shall be as a native of the land, what does he mean by that saying?
No, it says here, then they may take part like one born in the land. Talks about the foreigner. Because earlier it says, no foreigner may eat it. But if you have a foreigner amongst you, then he needs to be circumcised. And if he's circumcised, he can then take part like one born in the land.
Okay, what else?
So it's just like a inclusion part where if somebody's living with them, that's it. But this is just about eating Passover meat. There's nothing specific.
So from your understanding, you're saying God was just saying, hey guys, if they also want to eat bread with you in the same way you eat bread, yeah, they can do it. Just circumcision, but there's no significance. It's just for them to eat bread. Well, that's redundant, don't you think? They could just buy their own bread and just go eat it at their home. Why do they now need to take part of this ritual?
It's because they're talking about in the beginning of that chapter in Exodus 12. It talks about this is going to be their year. Like this month is the first month of the year. If you read the earlier ones, it says, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron in Egypt, this month is to be for your first month, for you, the first month for your year. Tell the whole community of Israel that on the 10th day of this month, each man is to take a lamb for his family, one for each household, etc., all the way to the end, right? So it's talking about a particular holiday that's been given to Moses when he was still in Egypt. And then it gives specific rules.
So why is God making that rule? That's what I'm asking. Okay, why do they need to? Why is God saying these natives, strangers, can also partake in the Passover? For what reason?
Yeah, because they're residing with them. So it's talking about the people who actually live in that community, in that area. If you have somebody residing among you who wants to celebrate the Lord's Passover, right? If the conditions apply, like in the circumcision stuff and all these things, then he can eat with you. That's all it is.
Okay.
So it's just about taking part of it, and it's like if somebody wants to celebrate Christmas with you, you can celebrate Christmas.
I would have brought more passages, but never ended it. But anyway, since the main people we're talking about Isaac are gone, I guess we can put that Isaac thing to rest. Unless, I don't know, you had some other stuff to say about it.
Just fact check what I said. Check exactly what I said about these, because it's a very known refutation about the whole story. Because this is one of the main stories that contradicts the Quran, the story of the Bible.
This is one of the main stories?
Yeah, the Isaac is a sacrificial son.
You said this is one of. Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Okay, you said something very interesting about that. You said that Christians were sort of inherited the Tanakh from the Jews, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, one of my conclusions, I'm going to have to go soon anyway, guys. I might end the room as well, probably in the next 10 minutes, because I actually have to get my day started.
Sure.
But my conclusion is that all Abrahamic faiths, they take their foundation from Tanakh. Because Christians, right, we uphold to the Old and New Testament. That's why I say Christians would agree. But of course, from your point of perspective, we're saying we inherit. But now here's the issue, right? If you then look at the Quran, you see that it even argues the foundation to say, like what you said before, it's been corrupted or tainted.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Okay, good. So that's where we now have differences. That's why earlier on I told you that when you now want to prove which narrative is true, it becomes a battle of the texts. It's no longer about, how much can I talk? How much does your Quran say? But now we have to say, okay, why do I choose to listen to the Tanakh over the Quran? That's not what the question is. Because if I choose to listen to the Tanakh, it doesn't matter what you tell me. The Tanakh is what's spewing out the truth.
Do you think that the Tanakh is the book of God? You know, the Tanakh is the book of God.
What does that have to do with what's being recorded?
Yeah, but you are claiming as if the Tanakh is the book of God.
Well, whether the Tanakh is the book of God or not, one thing I can tell you about it is that it's a record of certain things that were said by the prophets. Now, do you want to argue about whether or not those sayings of the prophets were from God or not? We can talk about that.
No, but we're arguing if they are the correct sayings of the prophet. That's
the
issue.
The correct sayings. That's the issue. How do you prove that?
That's what I'm trying to show you here.
According to you, how do you prove that the Tanakh is the book of God?
Yeah, so there's many ways we can do that. We can do it with the objective way, which I actually prefer. It's just by simply examining what's in front of us. By simply examining the Torah, the first 5 books, and the Tanakh later on, right? The first 5 books of the Old Testament, right? If you just simply examine them, you find that there's many contradictions, many misinformation, many failed prophecies, many issues, right? Even historically, it's been known that it's not even preserved, and there is a lot of missing gaps that have been added on and changed. Like, for example, Isaiah, and even the Jews even argue between themselves, right? How can you trust that book?
Then. Let's keep it simple. Let's start with the Torah. The Torah, right? Your position is that they fabricated it. In what sense?
They didn't preserve it. People
in what sense? That's what I'm asking.
There's people who claim that this is actually the words of the prophets, where there wasn't word of the prophets. They've changed it, either intentionally or unintentionally, either by ignorance or by motivation or an agenda.
Okay. That's what I'm asking, Abdullah. What did they change?
Why?
What did they change?
Anything. Okay, so here's the thing. If we didn't have the Quran, we would have been lost. We would have not known what was changed. But the fact that because we have the Quran and there is the Word of God, we can now look at these both books and we can compare. Anything that mentions the Quran is preserved. Anything that doesn't mention it.
Hold on, Islamic. If you look at the Torah. If you look at the Torah, right, how exactly would we have been lost? Just the Torah alone. I'm not talking about the rest of the Tanakh. We're starting with the Torah. How are we going to be lost?
Because it's a faulty scripture. It has many wrong things. What the story of Lot? Where is it?
Sorry, brother. You should bring up. There's many things you can bring up if you want to. It's up to you, but this is your conversation. But you could also bring up, Ishmael and Isaac, and how it makes no sense that
we
the
talked about that,
firstborn. Okay, you already talked about that. Okay.
Yeah. In Genesis, actually, look at this. I think I forgot which number. I can look it up right now quickly. In Genesis, the story of Lot and Noah also goes about them being these men. Like, for example, Noah specifically had sex with his daughters. Or was it Lot the one who had sex with his daughters? Well, I think both of them actually had. Both of them did the incest. And that you cannot accept such a thing. You're lost if you believe in these things. If you believe that God is going to choose a man who's going to become a prophet, and he's going to make miraculous actions, and then he's going to commit like major sins like incest, then you're definitely you're not following God. You're following the scripture of the devil in this case.
There's 2 points you brought. Let's talk about Lot then. There's 2 points you brought. Number one is that he was a prophet. So where do you establish that he was a prophet? Or where is it established in the Torah that he's a prophet?
I think according to the Jews, they don't accept Lot as a prophet. That's why also...
That's what I'm asking you. So where is it established
here's a fun fact. Exact same way they've done... Like, this is actually, if you look at the story of the older prophets in the Torah, you find that they actually attack these people, and they're claiming that these people are deviants. Like Lot is supposed to be a righteous man who lived with Abraham, and they both were prophets, right? And Lot used to be with Sodom and Gomorrah.
Hold on, Abdullah. You keep on inserting that Lot was a prophet. I'm saying, from the Torah, show me where Lot is said to be a prophet.
Yeah, that's what I'm showing you. It's like, we are saying he's a prophet according to Islam, right? Now, according to the Bible, the story, them rejecting him not being a prophet doesn't make sense, right? It actually makes sense that the Jews reject Lot.
Well, on what grounds? That's what.
Yeah, they reject him. They reject him, and they also fabricated his story afterwards. So they actually they attacked him personally, saying that he wasn't a righteous man, that he actually had incest with his daughters, and he's not a prophet.
Where are you getting these stories from? I'm asking a question.
That's in Genesis.
And I know the story of Lot, but where is it insinuated that he's a prophet? That's what I'm asking.
Okay, so the Jews are saying Lot is not a prophet, right?
I don't care what the Jews say. I want to know their sources. Where do they claim that he's a prophet?
Yeah, it's not going to be found in the Torah about him being a prophet, like a clear cut, just like Ishmael not being called a prophet. However, we're saying this is coming from Islam.
Okay, cool.
This is coming from the Quran.
So we're trying to find out where it was. Okay, fine. Okay, so Lot was not a prophet. He was just another righteous man. So, okay, what about him then?
Yeah, so they rejected that he's a prophet.
Doesn't matter if he's a prophet. You can't prove that claim. So I don't care about the prophethood.
No, I can, but it's a different conversation.
Now, I'll talk about something that I see in the Bible. It does make the claim that the second point that you made, that his daughters slept with him, and then that's where we get one. I forgot the name of the generation that came from Lot. Now, you're saying this never happened. On what grounds do you base that this is false truth? How do you determine whether or not this truly happened or it didn't?
Why would God send angels for a man to be saved from people?
Doesn't matter what God did and God what. I'm saying, how do you determine if this did happen or did not happen?
One second. Lot was literally living in Sodom and Gomorrah, where people had homosexual acts, and they were complete deviants and murderers and all of these things. God specifically for him sent angels to save him and his family. Okay, so he saw him as a righteous man. How does it make sense that God saved this man for him next day to have incest with his daughter? Doesn't make sense.
Okay,
completely
fair enough.
If he was a deviant man, he should have been he should have been killed with the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. Straight up.
But that was common back then.
No, but he was saved because he was a righteous man living with deviants. So how does a righteous man then get saved and the next day he commits like a major sin?
Was Adam a prophet?
Hold on.
Of course.
That's a very fair point, Abdullah. But still, that's more like now an assumption to say there's no way it's true because I assume this. But you don't know for sure if these things. How do you prove that? Yeah, what you're saying now is the truth versus what this book is saying is the truth. That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, because I also have a primary source material, which is the Quran. I have revelation to prove it.
Based on the Quran, that's how you establish truth.
Of course, based on the Quran, we establish truth. But however, that does not negate. But objectively, I can look at the story of Lot and I can say this story does not. It's not comprehensible.
You can look at it objectively as you want, but all you come out with is assumptions.
Okay, so you're telling me that the story of Lot is true? So you accept okay, so you're telling me the story of Lot in the Bible, where he was saved by angels, and these angels also destroyed his people because of their sexual acts. In fact, sexual acts for him to do then these same sexual acts.
Well, it wasn't him who did it, right? It was his daughters who drank in the father.
Yeah, so God saved him and his family, who were supposed to be quote unquote righteous people, right? And he punished his nation at the time, his village and the next other villages. He punished them specifically for the claim that they committed major sins when it comes to sexual acts. For him to next day commit these same exact sexual acts.
Yeah,
how does that make sense?
That's what the records say.
Okay, so in this case, tell me, how does it make sense? I am saying a man living in a city that's full of rapists. I take him out of the city because I want to protect him. For him to go and rape next day. How what? How does it even comprehensible?
Abdullah, let me tell you one thing. Unless you have a record that also reports of the same time frame, then I'm willing to listen to you. But as long as you don't have records, there's one thing that I know for sure. Number one, we're living in the same time frame. You're not there to see these things. And so therefore, based on this, you can't tell me what's true and what's not true. Anything that comes out of your, if the word itself, does this make sense? We're all talking assumptions. I can make a lot of assumptions. Now, do you want me to make assumptions?
I want you to be honest.
Honest to what?
I want you to be honest. When
About
the
what?
story of Lot, of him having incest with his daughters, do you accept that story with the whole
That's what the
story of
records.
Lot?
I accept what the records say. For until
So
you
you
can bring me
believe it's
another
true,
record.
right? You believe it's true? It's
Well, that's
completely
what the
normal.
records say the truth is. So that is the truth.
I believe it's normal, right? There's no issues with that whatsoever.
It doesn't mean.
I think that this story, God said, this story. Do you think that God said this story, of Lot?
Of course, it's not normal, man. Nobody's beyond reproach. That's the beautiful thing about the Bible. It shows nobody is beyond correction. The Quran shows that in small detail.
I wanted to make
Then watch this.
real quick before Jigsaw.
One person.
Yeah, because I actually wanted to speak. I was up here first. Sorry, Jigsaw, you got it after me. But yeah, so I just want, first of all, what Abdullah is highlighting here is that the order of things, it doesn't make any sense. And you said that well, now if you say he's not a prophet because the record doesn't say so. Well, what is a prophet? A prophet is one who receives revelation from God. So if angels are sent to this individual, giving him revelation that you need to leave the city because it's going to be destroyed because of what they're doing, then I think this is enough to say that someone is a prophet if they're receiving direct revelation from God. And then you have the point where Brother Abdullah brought up that he was saved only to commit the same horrendous acts as the people he was saved from, which doesn't make sense. So that's my comment on that. And if you guys ever want, if you're talking about like hard proof, not using the Quran as a source to show that the Torah has not been preserved. I mean, you just have to look at the multiple recensions of the Torah. You can look at the Masoretic text versus the Septuagint, and you can look at the other recensions and see how in a lot of key areas they are different. So that if you're looking for that type of evidence, that is there.
There is evidence that the Torah it was written after Moses I think 1,000 years or more than 1,000 years. So how can you prove that this is the book of God? This duration of time. You don't have the chain of narration. How to prove that this is the book of God?
Well, can I explain how you know this?
Yeah, hold on. I wanted to say, I would just want to make a real quick point, right? For anybody who believes one is appointed to be a prophet because in the future they may not make any mistakes, why would God save this man if he's bound to make a mistake in the future? But according to the Quran, you can make the same argument about the first man, which is Adam, because even that man wasn't beyond reproach. Am I right, y'all? Did Adam sin according to Islam?
Why didn't God save Sodom and Gomorrah then?
No,
I asked that question. Not Clubhouse Uno. No, I just asked first.
You're correct. You're correct, Jigsaw.
Yeah, why weren't they saved? If everyone deserves a second chance and they make mistakes, why wasn't Sodom and Gomorrah saved with Lot?
Exactly. And
so
we claim
there's a New Testament that speaks on that, how Lot was long suffering dealing with them. It's not like they did one thing and it was destroyed overnight, but I'll let somebody else have it.
Yeah, and then he mimicked it. He mimicked what the reason that they were punished, right? The reason is to say that action they were punished for was the same action committed by Lot. Right? So it's not adding up. If one person's getting a second chance and this and that, why isn't the other one? I don't know. I just can't.
Because it's all fulfilled in the coming of Jesus Christ, which is prophesied from Genesis to Malachi. This is the thing that you Muslims don't realize, is that you Muslims elevate Allah to the highest regard. You say Allah is the most magnificent. You say Allah is the most merciful.
Villa, you're changing the subject, Villa. That's what you do.
No,
You come in here, you change the subject. I'm speaking on the topic. If you notice, we're all speaking on the topic.
Just be patient, bro. Just be patient.
Yeah,
just
it's hard to have patience
just be
with someone
patient.
who doesn't know how to think. Unfortunately.
Just be patient. Okay, well.
What is your answer to the multiple recensions of the Torah? Villa, what is your answer to the multiple recensions of the Torah?
Okay, just be patient. There's no multiple recensions of the Torah. When the Jews went back to Israel,
What is the Septuagint and the Masoretic? What do you mean, bro? Okay, I'm sorry.
Hold on. That's not the Torah. Okay? When the Jews went back to Israel, they all returned with the same book, the same Torah, the same Tanakh. They all returned with the same book. But
Which one was it? Was it the Septuagint or was it the Masoretic that they returned with?
The Septuagint is not the Torah. So I don't know why you think the Septuagint is a Torah. I don't know why you think that. Because I mean, maybe you don't understand the history, or you don't understand what the Torah is, or the Septuagint is. But the Septuagint is not the Torah. So or the Tanakh, or the Psalms.
I know the Tanakh is not, but why are you saying the Septuagint is not?
Because it isn't. But we're not getting beside the point I'm trying to make with you right now. For me to be a Muslim, pay attention to what I'm saying to you now. For me to be a Muslim.
Why are you going into that topic?
Because I can. Why are you so scared of me? Why are you so scared of me saying what I want to say?
I mean, you're not dealing with the topic of the room. You want to change the topic. If I was a Muslim, then this and what's the problem? Why can't we speak on the topic?
Allah's a pagan deity.
Why can't we look again? You're trying to change it again. You're trying to trigger us.
No, we
were having a great conversation with Mun.
Hold on,
We were having a great conversation with Mun and Jigsaw, and then you decided to come in and start blasting things. Like we're not talking about that. You want to make claims about Allah, and you're just trying to trigger everybody to change the subject. That's your tactic. No, that's your tactic. That's your tactic, is to come in here, trigger some people so that they'll change the topic. Why don't you speak on the topic?
Why are you so scared of me making a point?
I'm not scared. You're just irrational. I'm pointing out to everybody.
Do you know why you're scared?
Problems with being irrational.
Do you know why you're scared? Because I cooked you over and over again in Amir's room.
There's a video of Milligan asking again,
and you're so scared for me to say it.
I told you
because I'm going to cook you again.
And I told you to be humble. I saw your video with. I saw your video with Muslim metaphysician, okay?
Yesterday, I will cook you today, and I will cook you tomorrow.
Jake,
that's why you're scared of me speaking.
I don't know what he's talking about cooking. You're not cooking anything.
You sound mad, bro. You sound mad.
Yeah, you do. You do. He can't recover from that video.
Okay. Anyway, so let me make my point, and I'll show you.
You're gonna make a new claim. You're going to make a new claim, so you're going to totally disregard the topic that we were discussing and about the Torah, about the multiple recensions, about what Brother Abdullah and Mun have been speaking about. You're going to completely just overshoot that. You know what? You're the one who's scared. Because you won't deal with the topic that was presented in the room. You're the one who's scared.
But this is the Christian lounge. That's the topic. The topic is the Christian lounge. That's what I'm talking about.
So hold on.
It's the Christian lounge.
Okay, so that's terrible rationality that you just used.
Hold on.
From a Christian comment, you're gonna change the whole room, right? You're just gonna wrestle us all to your argument.
Jeez, I've never known so many Muslims so scared. Jeez,
we're not scared. We're talking about a particular topic.
Why are you so scared?
And you're the one who wants to change the topic, so you're the one who's scared.
Why are you so scared?
Unless you're gonna, I don't know why you're on the stage. Actually, I thought you're gonna talk about loot here or the.
Well, kick me off the stage, then, bro.
Villa, you can open another room and put that subject.
Yeah, bring that title. Yeah, open up a room. Bring that title you wanted, the subject you wanted to talk about.
Why are you so scared? You're not supposed to have. You're not supposed to have the final religion, the best, the most perfect religion. As soon as I try and talk about your religion, you're scared.
Who do you think believes you out here on the stage? Do you think Mun believes you? Do you think because Mun is also a Christian, he believes you? Do you think so? Do you think that Jigsaw believes you? Jigsaw's a Christian. Do you think he believes you from this?
I haven't said anything.
Who are you trying to fool?
I've said nothing that Mun shouldn't believe me. You're so scared because you know I'll destroy your religion, I'll destroy your fake prophets, and I'll destroy your fake Allah. That's why you're scared for me to speak.
Yeah. You want to speak about the concept of God?
I want to speak about your false religion.
Your room.
Yuvilla
would like to change the topic to the concept of God in Islam versus the concept of God in Christianity. Are you okay with us talking about that, Mun?
Why are you so scared of that?
Mun, are you there?
Why are you so scared of speaking about your religion?
Mun knows. Listen, if you want to, do you want to do that, Villa? Do you want to discuss? Do you want to discuss the concept of God that you have versus the concept of God that we have? Do you want to do that?
Yes. Yeah. I want to discuss that.
You want to do that?
I want to discuss that. So now,
cool.
Now, pay attention. Pay attention.
So you're scared about the old topic? Let's just concede on the old topic, and I'll talk about it. Concede that you don't have any arguments.
I don't know the old topic.
Concede that you don't have any arguments against what we brought up. Concede. Go ahead, and then I'll gladly talk about this with you. Go ahead and concede first.
I concede because I don't know what it is. Yeah, I concede it. Yeah. Whatever it is.
You do. You concede that the Torah is not preserved, right? You concede that?
No. That's not my topic.
No. That was the topic of the room. So do you concede that the Torah was not preserved? Because if you do that, then I will go ahead and talk about this new subject.
Do you want to talk about the preservation of the Torah?
I'm asking you, do you want to concede that? Then I'll move on to the new topic.
No, I'm happy. Let me give my point on the Torah and the preservation of the Torah. No, we can stand this topic.
Okay, what is your evidence that the Torah is preserved?
My evidence of the Torah is preserved is two things. Firstly, in the 613 laws, the Jews, every male Jew is supposed to write the Torah in his own hand. That is a preservation of the Torah. Number two, God, the most magnificent, the most almighty, the all-knowing, the most merciful, from 3,000 years ago, an all-knowing God would know how to preserve his message for mankind for all of time. For you to claim that the Almighty God, the all-knowing God, was to deliver his message knowing his message was going to fail would make the Almighty God a deceiver and a failure and a loser. Now, all you have to do is say, Allah is a failure and a loser, and he didn't know how to deliver his message.
Why are you doing this?
Let me finish, bro. Let me finish.
A reasonable conversation.
Let me finish, bro. Don't be scared.
Don't bring up anything about Allah. If you bring up anything about Islam, then that means you've conceded. You've conceded that Torah has been changed.
No. This is
you want to move to a new topic.
Bro, no, you gotta pay attention, bro. Listen, bro. Listen to what I'm saying. So
you're giving me circular reasoning. That was your first point.
Listen, bro. I'm not. If you let me finish, you'll see it's not circular. You just gotta let me finish.
Restate your first point for the.
Listen. Be patient, bro. It's not circular reasoning. You just have to be patient. Don't get excited and nervous because you know your religion is fake. Let me finish my point.
Again.
Hold on.
Every time you decide to disrespect my religion, I'm going to come off mic. That's what's going to happen. So if you want to talk about the subject, if you want to hold an academic, a good discussion, without the red herrings and the ad hominems, I'm willing to do that. But if you're not willing to do that,
it's not a red herring or ad hominem.
to
I'm saying you as a Muslim.
I don't care about me as a Muslim. I don't care about that. What I care about is what is your evidence that the Torah is preserved?
Okay, my first evidence, which I said to you, one of the 613 laws is every male child is commanded to write the Torah in his own hand. That's one of the 613 laws, which is from way back when.
Is that the whole Torah? The whole Torah is only 613 laws? What about the rest of it?
Bro, I'm saying one of the laws in the Torah, the 613 laws that are in there, is for every male Jewish child is to write the Torah in his own hand. Bro, you got to stop being so insecure, bro. Just let the conversation flow and you will see the Bible is far superior than your ungodly failure of Allah. Just let the conversation flow and you'll see it.
Okay, so now, let's deal with your first point. You said that it was written down, right? Again, I'm gonna listen. You listen, Villa. I don't think it's going into your head what a real conversation is. I don't think you probably never had one in your life. You've probably never had a real conversation in your life because you need all these other ad hominems, red herrings to try to make your point. That's the sign of a weak argumenter. Of a weak interlocutor, right? That's what you are. Now, let's deal with your first point. You said that everyone had to write down these laws. Okay, great. Now, can you provide a chain of transmission that goes from what we have today to the people who were writing down these laws when the Torah was written?
Yes, it's very simple. When the Jews returned to Israel, they all returned with exactly the same Torah, the Tanakh, and the Psalms. From all over the world, they returned with exactly the same thing. That is evidence within itself. Okay. That is the most perfect proof. Let me address that. Imagine that happened.
Let me address that. Okay, so you're saying in a period of time when the Jews went back to Israel, they all came with the Torah. Okay, great. Yes. So then where did the Septuagint come from?
Not just the Torah. Not just the Torah. They came with exactly the same Torah. They came back with exactly the same Tanakh, and they came back with exactly the same Psalms. Now, prove me wrong.
Scottish
number one.
Do you mean that the Torah, which is
very good guess. And I'm doing wonderful. I had today off, so it's been kind of a lazy day.
Hey, Lachlan. Yeah, I didn't think about it like Scottish or Irish. Beautiful name. It's like the Loch Ness Monster, but you are the beautiful Loch Ness Angel. I don't know what you're doing tonight, but I'm downtown by the Power and Light District if you want to get a drink, have a martini, or get a bite to eat. If you're free, let me know. Bye.
You have any more ad hominems you want to get out of your chest?
No, I'm just telling you, you're a liar because you are a liar. You told me that
more ad hominems. Okay.
And I'm telling you, when they came back to Israel,
Get it
they
all
came back with the exact same Torah, the exact same Tanakh,
Bring your evidence for that. Bring your evidence for that. That's number one. But you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to ask for evidence for that.
No. You said they came back with different renditions.
I didn't say that.
Almost. How was your the other day?
I'm a good dancer. How are you, something? You know to dance or only to lick asses?
No, sadly I don't.
Something with your life. Learn to dance, learn to sing, learn to swim, learn to drive a boat on the sea. Learn something in your life.
Almost. I have a lot of hobbies. Have you seen any of my own?
All your hobbies is Yael Ass and Clubhouse. You don't know nothing else than Clubhouse.
Wow. I'm almost. You don't know me like that. I'm deeply offended.
Amos, you were in Clubhouse.
Yes, it's true.
I love it when people come on Clubhouse and say everyone that comes out on Clubhouse is thick and lacks wisdom while they're on Clubhouse. Because they're basically announcing that they are in fact thick and lacking wisdom themselves.
Louisa.
Also with a low IQ.
Louisa, it's been on the tip of my tongue for a moment, and I can't help but shake off this feeling. Are you Catwoman?
No.
Okay, thank God. I thought you were Catwoman.
Why? Didn't you like Catwoman?
Cam had some choice words about her. I'll tell you
What
later.
did Cam say about Catwoman?
No. I'm not going to get messy in this room because our wonderful friend John down there may record rooms sometimes.
Well, that's alright. I can take care of that problem.
Who, me?
God bless you.
Raboy.
Wasn't actually a man. I came to her like a man.
And see, there you have it. The confidence.
Let's not bring my personal story on. Let's leave.
Can we talk about just briefly unwarranted confidence? Some people have way more than their share, and it would do them well to be a little more humble.
Put a headshot on it.
No, well, it doesn't have to be. No, I would. Part of what helped me decide that white supremacy was a fucking myth was being surrounded by white mediocrity, 40 hours a week for years on end. I was like, ain't no damn way.
That's white supremacy. They're allowed to be mediocre and not get fired. Black people can't be mediocre and stay around. The hell wrong with you?
Thank you, She-Wolf.
And then have the nerve to fail up, to be rewarded for your mediocrity is insane.
Oh, we got that on the black
So
side.
how don't you believe in white supremacy if they were allowed to fail up?
I think that networking plays a key. There are other associations we could have.
God.
Yes.
That's a key. Yeah, that's just likability, and that's your homies. Looking out for your homies.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with.
Here comes Concrete Show. Go ahead, Concrete Show. That's the problem. That's what blacks is failing, because when someone's up, we try to push the other motherfucker down. Pull that other motherfucker up. Damn. Come on, black people. Come on. Concretia is nasty. Knowledge must be mad. Knowledge must be still mad from yesterday's spanking.
You mean gaslighting? Yesterday's gaslighting. That's
I just think Knowledge had his hopes high, Concrete. That's what. Yo, when Concrete uses powers for evil, that dude is dangerous, bro. Dangerous. I don't know. I feel like that needs applause, but I don't know why.
That's his demon? Is that his demon? Because he's been calling out everybody else's demon. I want to know.
No. I'm just saying, man. I never seen it until he made someone cry. Who made cry? What are you talking about?
You.
See, come on, you can't be driving a big truck and rolling over people and just being like, "Oh, I didn't even know I rolled over anyone."
Yeah, who do you make cry?
You know, you took a simple exchange about boundaries.
Kojima was about to cry last night. We did make him
that
cry.
too. That too.
Listen, if I say it, Concrete is gonna gaslight me and say, "No, that ain't true. You know how these people do." I'm not even talking about Monica. Yes. I didn't say you don't believe that. You don't believe that. Bro, I felt so bad, bro. I was like, oh my God. It did sound like she had a... No, she sounded stressed.
Howard, my favorite propagandist on the app.
Hey, Adam.
She do that shit anyway.
Shalom.
I disagree with her. And she got
that's why I didn't want to I know some racist people ain't gonna believe it. The only thing that happened was Talia called her out for what she was trying to pry into Lion and Lady's business. And then she tried to get Talia back in check by saying, "Talia, what's up? What's been going on?" And all I did was say what was happening. That's all I did.
Well, I'm glad that Adam's
Concrete head, that's what happened.
I don't know how much help I can be.
That's exactly what happened, though.
I'm the only Catholic on the app, celebrating Passover.
It's always
I
this,
do
man.
want to say that Adams gave me feedback about the way that I moderate some people, and I took that into consideration. So that is part of what you saw. Not that I was, targeting her or anything. I just saw things.
You did the right thing, and now you're apologizing.
But then you made it. you made it a horrible thing with your.
She's trying to establish.
So what happened with the moderation?
She's trying to establish her new normal as far as, you know, handing down her heavy hand. So I'm proud of you, Talia. Whatever wisdom
Somebody was
imparted
pushing
in you,
back.
any inspiration, you know, just be sure to cash at me. But nonetheless, I'm glad that I was a source of inspiration.
Miss Fifi, weren't you
Hey,
here?
Kiker, you know what the crazy shit is that Tally tried to backbone her yesterday too, man, and she's doing it again today.
So yesterday, Lion and Lady, you know, or Lady, I think.
Oh God! Don't let him up. Don't let him up.
Lady said some.
Talia, you see who's in the audience.
Hold on, Adams, what you doing?
Right? I'm trying to hear the recap.
He's recording the room. John Kidover.
It's okay. Lady,
John Kidover is recording the room. All right, everybody, hope you enjoyed. So stupid.